You want, Nimrod.
Okay. Okay, so hi everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me for that blog. What I'll discuss is about the DMZ that is sold 1998, and now we're talking about the Cloud-DMZ. My name is Nimrod Luria, and I'm the founder and CTO at Centrix. Today we're going to talk about a bit about the basic architecture and why our web attacks are still painful and easy to execute. We are seeing a lot of enterprises, a lot of financial institutes that using the best of breed technologies, but still they have an attacks and even successful ones that produce at the end the downtime and at the end bad reputation for those organizations. I will introduce you to the Cloud-DMZ, and we'll talk about a bit the security risk and the current situation about migrating to the cloud. So basically, the DMZ architecture that was invented somewhere in the 8th of the 90s, we saw a DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone. Some organizations are more secure in having another layer of a DMZ, which means they have 2 layers of DMZ. Then we have the local area network, or the one that accessing the application server and the database servers. I will discuss in a moment about this in depth and the fact that when a user wants data from the legacy system, at the end we will need to give them access to that, and that's probably one of the weakest points in this architecture. Some organizations are still talking about the virtual DMZ, which is the more implementation of a private cloud. The most important part is to be able to use the elastic growth of those technologies. Here you can see a blueprint of a VMware ESX that have the web zone, the application zone, the database zone. There's a virtual center server that manage everything with the hypervisor. And the bottom line is this is more modern DMZ, which is virtual, means that if you need to add more server, you can do it in a click of a button. At the end, still those filtering mechanisms are in place, the old web application firewalls are in place, and we are seeing that still attacks are successfully executed against this kind of an architecture. When we're talking about the Cloud-DMZ, and this is the modern IT reality, it's no longer just a local network which you can control of. There's an external network that involves like Dropbox, like Salesforce, Amazon Web Services, Windows Azure, and etc. We are seeing, based off the Cloud Security Alliance survey, we are seeing that 45% of the cloud using for email. The rest is for sales and marketing and intellectual property and to keep customer data. Here is still from the same report, we're seeing around between 10% of the organization that implemented at least one application in the cloud, and 45% at least did some 1 to 10 apps. And we are seeing that webmail and cloud storage are the most valuable for user in the cloud. That's what you see in the bottom graph at the left. So the main question is, why are web attacks still so painfully easy to execute? And I can share with you later on a demo how I can easily execute a 0-day on WordPress and how easy it is to buy a 0-day. I believe that it's still painfully easy to execute it because the current mechanism is working on filtering devices. Those kind of mechanism trying to say, I will understand every payload, I will understand the attack, and then I will be able to block it. And it's really hard. Because today, the 0-day marketplace is really easy. You can use the Bitcoins, you can use Litecoins, you can use OKPay or Western Union or whatever you want to buy gold. And with that gold, you can buy a 0-day. You can see, for an instance, Adobe Flash, it costs you around $3,000. You want Internet Explorer 11, it's around $5,000. It's not so expensive as it was before. More on that is that the marketplace on web applications specifically, and I want to quote you from that website, this category is full of vulnerabilities which was found in web projects and web applications. Most of them are free. Means that if I will see any WordPress website that I would like to hack, then I can download the 0-day, execute that against the WordPress. As you can see here, the Yoast that was very famous a few months ago. And as you can see, it's really easy to execute. The issues with WAF and these rules, it's really hard to manage. Every simple website needs hundreds or even thousands of rules to manage in order to see what I want to block or what I want to allow. And it's really hard to maintain. Organization needs to race after the patches and updates and 0 days, and every time make sure that when you patch the system, you didn't impact any of the configuration that you would like, and it's really hard to manage. What I'm saying about the Cloud-DMZ is more about what we saw in the development. 20 years ago, at the end of the 90s, we saw that the internet, in order to write a website, you need to write what we called at the time a spaghetti code. The back end was involved in the code with the front end, it was a big mess. And that's what's happening today. Today, with the architecture of the DMZ, the external users are involved with internal users and with the workers, and it's a big mess. We are now moving to a decoupled architecture, which we have island of data, which have island of services. And we call it, regarding to the website, we call it the Cloud-DMZ. Regarding to security, we believe that the holistic paradigm is dead. You can no longer talk about securing the network, host, and application. It is important to do, it is important to implement, but with a different method. With today's technologies, it's really hard to secure the application, make sure that you validate on input, authorize on input, and so on and so forth. We will show an architecture that will help you to focus on what's really important and implement that only in those specific areas. The defense in depth principles, we took it from the World of War, which it's same like protecting a castle. As you can see, you can have the guards, you can have the walls, you can have the moat. You can have more defense, more layer of defense, but at the end, if someone wants to go and visit the king, he must bypass all of those defense in-depth mechanisms. So if, regarding to a website, if you want to give someone an access to your legacy systems from the web, you need to pass through all of your firewalls, intrusion prevention, and get to your critical assets. That's why we believe that defense in-depth, it's not relevant anymore. And the advantage of the attacker is that the attacker can defend whatever you like, he can fire at will, and the defender must defend all points. And that's a dilemma, which as a if you want to defend your network, if you defend your website, you must defend all points, and that's a challenge. Those we can see from the news all over. Oklahoma City website hit we did this 2 days ago. BBC, anonymous to BBC, bring back Larson, 3 DDoS attack on the BBC. WordPress was under attack. The US was under attack on August, and the end of August. So we're seeing happening all the time. This is, for an instance, I did that in a conference in Europe, so I showed them the website that was defaced at that very specific day. So it's among us, it's happening all the time. And the problem and the failure of protection is that we have modern applications that challenging the traditional security approaches, which is HTML5, Ajax, JSON, and so on. We have legacy system that is hard to cover and sometimes impossible to patch. And the error is human, and with today's technologies, it's only one misconfiguration, only one error is enough in order to the attacker to execute a successful attack. And it's all about the education. We must and need to defend all unknown attack, and with the current technologies, we need to know what we're protecting against. I want to introduce you to the Cloud-DMZ, which we believe in some way will help you to build more secure, robust applications. And the architecture, regardless to products, it's a concept. It's a concept that what we are saying is you not longer want to bring all the user into your DMZ. We now create a DMZ of the DMZ, a replica of your DMZ in the cloud. And this replica grid will contain all legitimate resources that the user must access to. So let's say that you are bbcnews.com and the user wants to see the news. You need to go to this Cloud-DMZ. He will no longer need to go to the backend. Only 1% of the resources required to backend, such as login, search, and so on. All the predictable data, all the content will be served from the cloud. So what we are saying is that at the cloud, you should decouple your architecture, you should decouple your website and take all the presentation layer, all the fine downloads, all the part that the user does not need to enter an input and serve it from the cloud. In that way, the load will be much less. You don't need to handle the hardening of the operation system, of the content management system, and the code. Everything will be flattened and will be deployed in a secure way to the cloud. And how does it work? With the continuous updating, the context analyzer will go and land the origin website, replicate it to the cloud, and then publish that. The internet is moving to a context where we saw that Google just announced that they are changing the indexing mechanism. Instead of just indexing a text, they are now executing script, JS, and stars, and so on, CSS, and so on. And we are doing that for security also. We have a pre-scanning, we're building the application of the website, we understand what your users should do, and we will serve only that. In that way, the attack surface will be minimum. You can deploy your website in minutes, and instead of learning the traffic and understand what the user should do, we're creating the traffic itself and then replicate that to the cloud. Better security, the battle zone is now moved to the cloud, all the attacks goes to the cloud, and the web application itself stays clean. With today, DMZ, all the attacks is coming in. It's funny to hear that large enterprises are taking down from a massive DDoS because of a massive file download, because for each and every file download, it hit the web app. And with the Cloud-DMZ approach, it will just download it from the cloud. A DDoS attack on a starter DMZ will look like the attack will be centralized into the DMZ, which will be a challenge to beat. And with the DDoS attack on the Cloud DMZ, every user or every attacker will take his cloud replica from a different location in the world. So therefore, we will prevent that by detecting the bot, we'll mitigate by scalable replications. And this is pretty much it about the Cloud DMZ.
Okay, thank you very much, Nimrod. I have some questions for you. Firstly, first of all, I would like to ask you if you work in Spain or in Latin America. Your company offers services in these two regions?
Yes, we're working in the US, in APAC, and also in London. We have Asaf Kotzer, which is our sales manager, and he can work closely with the LATAM market.
Okay, I would like to know also, do you work mostly for certain industrial sectors or certain verticals, I mean banks or public administration, or you work with every industry?
Now, what our goal is not like approaching the small businesses, but we're more focused on those businesses where the website is really critical. As you said, the financial institutes, the banks, governments, large enterprises that for them it's really important that the website will stay up and running. We're giving a service for those enterprises that expecting an enterprise-grade security, because the many other companies like Cloudflare, Incapsula, and so on that have WAF as a service, but it's not a whole solution. It's not an enterprise-grade as a service, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, I would like to know why is different your product with traditional security products as, for instance, firewalls and so on?
Yeah, the reason is that we are not working as a blacklist mechanism. We are not have a pattern match for attacks. The standard WAF, for instance, if they see a payload that they will not recognize, they will pass it through, and probably it will be a 0-day with a very successful attack. Our approach is totally different. Instead of trying to block everything, we'll not do that. We have the context analyzer that go and understand what is a legitimate transaction that the user should do on a website. Then we will replicate that behavior to the cloud, and we will serve only that. So instead of trying to block everything, we will not serve something that we are not aware of. So when we learn a website, we build a profile. Anything that will try to serve, let's say that an attacker is trying to access an administration interface, we will not block it. We just will not serve it. We will not replicate it to the cloud, because when we learn that, when we execute every command on the web server, we didn't see any link or any reference to administration interface. I have also a demo, and if you want, I can share it with you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so give me a minute. I just want to load it up. So I have a demo, which I can send you a video of that demo tomorrow maybe. So this is the website. As you can see, this is a demo site. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
When you see this one, can you see the SQL injection here?
Yes, absolutely everything.
When I do a login, you will see welcome Nimrod Luria without even knowing the password. This is kind of SQL injection. And what I've implemented here, as you can see, this is a file upload, okay? Can you see that? A question, blah, 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 and choose a file.
Yes, yes.
And what I'm showing here is that when I'm trying to upload a backdoor and submit a question, it will tell me invalid file type, right? Picture and PDF only, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm running a tool. His name is Fiddler, which is a proxy debugger. Now, when I will access the file, I will do here a breakpoint. And then, when I upload the file again and stop it, I will change the content type, just a second. Give me a second. Instead of having a content type which is an application content stream, I will change it to an image JPEG. And what will happen there, it will allow me to upload the backdoor, means that now, if I will access attack this site /attachments/backdoor tool, you will see that I have an access to a backdoor.
Absolutely.
And this is something that a traditional WAF will not be able to protect, because the payload is okay. Nothing dangerous with the payload itself. No injection, no nothing on that. And then I can just go and type the libraries and explore everything and download everything, create files, and I can do whatever I want. This is something that a traditional WAF will not block. And with our approach, let me now move to the Cloud-DMZ. I will launch Notepad++. Okay, and take a look. This is attack this site, and I will load the cloud replica. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I will close everything. I don't want to close your session. So I hope I won't have any cache issues. When I access, I have the cache issues. I don't want to interrupt that, but when I try, you know what, I can have a virtual machine. When I access that from a different machines, it will not access that because I didn't learn. Okay, let me take it to Explorer.
Yes.
Because it will be a different server, a browser. Sorry, just a second. Now I'm still in the session, and I don't want to disconnect you. But when I will change that and move to the attacked site replica, this URL will not be published because I didn't learn that before. Just to finish the demo, I can upload the virtual machine and show it over to you. Let me in the meanwhile, this is my penetration test machine.
We have a real demo of your security system.
Yeah. And what I proved here is that the current WAF will not recognize that something is not legitimate with that, because I show how I can easily bypass filtering of file upload by changing the MIME type. And I changed the MIME type, as I showed you before, from application architect string, which is an ASPX file. I've changed it to an image JPEG, and that is how I bypass the application filter.
Hello? Hello, Nimrod?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah?
Oh, okay. I have lost your screen.
Oh, because I'm in a virtual machine. You know what? So you can access it by yourself, by the way.
Please show your, if you can, show your screen again and explain how to do.
Yeah, sure.
Have
you seen my screen again?
Not already, not yet. I have to go to the left part.
Yeah. What about now?
Yes. Now, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I did is I just put in the host file, I just put the cloud replica, which this is the cloud replica itself. When I go to the cloud replica and try to attack this site with the backdoor tool, it won't give me nothing. The reason for that is I didn't learn before the backdoor tool. It was not something that our context analyzer learned before. And when you go to attack this site and try to access an admin interface or something else, you won't be also able to do so. For an instance, I give you another example. Centrix.com, okay, is built on WordPress, and WordPress is totally vulnerable. I didn't do any hardening, and when I try to access this one, okay, as you can see, nothing will come up. The reason for that is because a legitimate user don't have any reason to go to wp-admin. And this is not something that I blocked before. This is not something that the organization need to do. And this is the beauty with our solution. It's not anymore blacklisting and understand what the attack should be and understand that someone can bypass the filtering of ask question and upload a malicious file. You just know what you want to share, and we're working on that whitelist, and that's it.
Great. Yeah. Have you finished?
Yeah.
The demo? Okay. Another question is, you say you explain in your webpage that you help retailers and everybody that use the credit cards to accomplish with the PCI 6, I think is the last one, normative. Explain me a little bit about this, please.
Sure. What's happened, let's say that at the back end, can you see the architecture on the screen?
Yes.
So let's say that at the back end you have the PCI data. You have some of the web app with the PCI information and the user that accessing the Cloud-DMZ. Now, I was doing PCI for one of the largest organizations in Europe. And I remember that something that works very good for us is to be able to say, we are not going to move all the organization to the DMZ. We're going to define a very specific location in the network that's going to contain a credit card transactions, and only that will be the PCI environment. A common mistake of enterprises is to say, okay, if I need to be a PCI, I will go and do compliance for all 100% of the servers. The bottom line is all you need to do PCI is for the places that you have credit card transaction on the wire, on transit, or in storage. So what we will do in that is, first of all, we'll understand by a context analyzer, we'll understand how many and where exactly PCI transaction you have. We will map all those PCI transactions and move those very specific, as you can see here, it's only will be 1% of your data, and we will move it to a very specific web app, which will be the PCI environment. All the rest of the requests will go and serve from the cloud or even from other backend environments. We can divert only those PCI transactions to the mitigation services, make sure that we know what's going on, that it's approved transactions, so on and so forth. We'll have the web application firewall as a service, we have the monitoring, and everything needed for the PCI. For all the rest, it doesn't need to be a PCI because we just decouple that. And then we'll make you able to be much more focused on those PCI transactions. We'll give you everything that you need in 6.5, which is the application firewall, the monitoring, the change management, and everything. And then redirect only the PCI transactions to a very specific PCI transactions location and not mix it with the current DMZ. So the bottom line, instead of, let's say that you have 100 web servers in your network, instead of having 100 servers being PCI compliant, we can move it into a very few web servers that need to be compliant. This is pretty much it. Hello?
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The last question is about the cost of your solution. Are there difference between the cost for a solution like Cloud-DMZ and the rest of security solutions?
No.
So there are not.
It's a whole managed service. There's no extra fee because you want to be PCI compliant. There's no extra fee because we're boosting the performance. The only places they will have an extra fee is it's because of an extra SSL certificate or an extra domain. Our price model is based on how many domains you want to protect and the amount of traffic per month.
Okay. This is a curiosity that I have. As far as I know, you have been in the IDF, the Israel Defense Force. Do you think that that is helpful for you, for your company, to protect better your client sites and your client application?
Absolutely, because we're facing political situations which almost all the time leads to cyber situations. We're seeing that every time that something happening in the news, automatically it converted into a cyber attack. The fact that what we saw is in our duty or in the past is massive attack and so sophisticated attack that I believe that we are very lucky to have that experience. From that experience, we know how to protect critical infrastructure, and we know how to protect it at a national level. So for sure, we will be able to use those practices to protect enterprises all over the world.
Okay, Nimrod. So thank you very much for staying with us a little bit, and I hope we will hear from you in the future.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the opportunity. It was a great pleasure for me.
Okay, Nimrod. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.